All right, as promised, you know, show the cards that I bought while I was on deployment. For you all that don't know, I deployed in Antarctica. Um, Times these days are so much different than when I first got in the Coast Guard 19 and a half years ago. We got things like Starlink and what have you now. So I was pretty well connected. Could still get on eBay. Couldn't stream, but um, could still call back home and and whatnot. So I thought I'd share what I was buying, much to the chagrin of my wife. you know, my daughter, she tells me, she was like, "Oh, mom was mad uh, when your baseball cards were coming in and things like that." So the first thing is I'll show a Ken Boyer card. This 1960 Leaf, great card. I think he's one of those players I'm just gonna try to collect a whole bunch. I think over time. Um, Read a biography on him and a great book. I think I'll show more uh, cards with books, videos down the line. When you're on a ship out in the middle of the ocean and down at the bottom of the world, you know, read some books. Got a big, well, for me, big Stan Musial pickup right there. Read again, books, you know, read the Bubblegum Card Wars book. I don't know. I'll show it in a later video. But for me, the whole Bowman versus Topps Card Wars, the poster child, Stan Musial. Going back into my last video about wanting to do more of that signs of the pastime kind of thing is these two guys right here. So got Joe Garagiola, picked up his rookie card. And then I got Yogi Berra. It's 1964 Topps, and you might be asking, there's so many great Yogi Berra cards out there. And for me, it was 1964. Why? Because that's when the Yankees and the Cardinals played in the World Series. Memorable season for the Cardinals. And they won the World Series. And this St. Louis kid grew up on the hill, was the manager of the Yankees at the time. So I thought if I was going to have one Yogi Berra card in my collection, it was going to be the 64 card. All right, going back into my, being a player collection, whatnot, it was Red Shandies. You all saw that in my last video. And picked up a few cool cards of his. And that was my first exhibit card. Now, he's got a couple other variations. You see the name is in white. He's got another one that's a darker color or something, but I'm gonna pick up that eventually. And there's another one where he's batting, and I figure I'll get all three variations at some point in time. This one appears to be the harder one to get. I got it on an auction for like $20 or something. Pretty good deal. Great shot of the red. Now, to be a serious Shaney's collector, you gotta have the 48 Bowman. Had to pick this one up. It's in a tremendous condition, centering is off, whatever, it's not going to be double D approved, but don't really care. I save money by buying it ungraded, off center, round corners, and I am the proud owner of a red Shandy's rookie card. Amazing. And then, with Ray Shandy's, it was like, man, I want to encapsulate his career. Like, I want cards that, not just Cardinals cards, with the Giants, he was only there for a year. He's traded there mid-season by Frank Lane, that idiot. Same dude that wanted to trade Musial. And then he was traded mid-season again to the Braves. If you, I'll talk about this again, I'm sure, but if you ask Hank Aaron, if you ask Eddie Matthews, which I know may be hard to do right now, but at the same time, they got books that you can read this on. Ray Shandy's was instrumental in them winning the World Series, winning the pennant, winning the World Series, and the next year they won the pennant while he was suffering from tuberculosis. So it's like, man, I really, really want a Braves card of him. And nothing's really stuck out. He's got the spick and span cards. There's a couple 1960s online. The 57 would be phenomenal. But the 61 is cool too. And I just haven't really been able to pull the trigger. But then I saw this. And this is a really cool Shandy's card commemorating his time with the Braves winning the World Series. And, ultra modern, this, that, whatever the case may be. But that's really cool. These commemorative cards are pretty cool. Yeah, will it stop me from picking up something else later on down the road? No, but that's cool. So, like I said in my last video, my main PC is Ozzie Smith. I'm not an experienced YouTuber, so I don't have videos of what my collecting goals are for 2025. What I would say is one Sam Musial card is on there. Shandy's rookie card is on there. One Ken Boyer card is on there. And these are just kind of like, super fun, maybe future YouTube videos. But Ozzie Smith. So my goal was 5 cards for Ozzie Smith. Now it's only April, and well, I met my goal. But then again, I also have 871 Ozzie Smith cards. It's really cool. This is where it's getting kind of into the, modern, ultra modern, I don't know. But anyway, 1990 Leaf. Now you might be asking, what's so special about 1990 Leaf? This was a special preview. Really cool. One of the more expensive cards to get for him, but it's ungraded, so it wasn't that expensive. What about this one? 1990 playing cards. Well, what's special about that? I don't know if I can capture on the video, but it's got a silver edge. Ooh. That's kind of the tough part about collecting more modern players. It's these variants. And then this one, it's a Leaf Preferred, press proofs. I don't know. but I got that on from a guy on the Facebook group. There's an Ozzie Smith Collector Facebook group, and I'm not on there to try to get new cards for my collection, more or less just as share cards, but you can't turn it down, right? Card I didn't have, got now. Here's a more difficult one. 1996 Upper Deck Dynasty Silver. Gold one is super tough. Probably a never owned card, which is fine with me. I got the silver, and I got the base. So I'm good with that. That was 4. Now, when I was invited to that Facebook group, they got these questions you have to answer, and it's what's the one card you're looking for was on that group. That was one of the questions. And so I answered, and I thought it was more of a far-fetched idea, but I got it. Look at that. Mirror Gold. Ozzie Smith. 1996 Select Certified. Now, if I was like Topps 85 401, I'd be like, oh, look at that shine. See that rainbow effect? That's not on the base. That color match, rainbow or mirror red. Blues are more scarce. Definitively the gold. If you know anything about this set, you know about the gold. I'll never own any of those. But I'm super, super happy. I got the red, I got the mirror red. So, met my collection goal of 5 new Ozzie Smith cards this year, which is amazing. Like the checklist I compiled. I'll get more into this on future videos. There's 906 cards. I got 871 of them. Man, that ain't too shabby. But then, I was underway, turned 40, which is great because, with military, I get to be a little bit fatter. Now I'm over 40. And I was like, well, what is something cool that could commemorate that? Now, technically, this is double, and I don't really collect doubles, right? But let me pull out the original that I have. I bought it, I don't know, like 20 some odd years ago. You got this Hostess 1979 Ozzie Smith rookie card. Pretty great. So then what did I do? On my 40th birthday, I managed to win in competition with other Ozzie Smith collectors, but then also Nolan Ryan collectors. And that is the full panel 1979 Hostess. It's pretty tremendous, right? Like, you look at my copy, not that great a condition, nothing worth sending in, for grading. I was like, should I upgrade that? Should I not upgrade that? Like, I'm this serious Ozzie Smith collector, right? And then this popped up, and I was like, man, let let me put in my best bid. You know, it's down there in Antarctica, and you know, we're in a completely different day. We're in the future, you know, different time zones. I was like, I put in a bid. Either it wins, it wins. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Because I don't do this whole sniping app thing. I don't know what that's about. But, you know, what's really cool is you got these ads. Sporting news out of St. Louis, Missouri, my hometown. And where did Ozzie Smith go to play later on? His Hall of Fame career. St. Louis, Missouri. Pretty amazing. So, anyway, you know, like I said, deploying and whatnot, it's not what it used to be. But those are the cards that I won off of eBay, of course, except for the one. You know, that was via the Facebook group, that, you know, being that one. But when I came home, these were the cards that were waiting for me, much to my wife's chagrin. And I managed to fill out some of my Ozzie Smith collection. Oop. Sorry. Red Shaney's collection. Ken Boyer. Stan Musial. Only got a few more to go of those. I just got a couple kids from the Hill. You know, again, you know, maybe there'll be a future video on that. That'll be a lot of fun. I've been to their childhood homes. But those are the cards I collected while I was on deployment. So thank you all for watching, and have a good one.